Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, Freaky Draft League, and welcome to the team report. This is week 9, Chicago Hammers versus Seattle Mariners. Let's get into it. So for those of you with a trained eye, it might stick out that this is a pretty doomed matchup. Iron Boulder with that rock-type Mighty Cleave attack plows through Protect. Super effective into Fire, Ice, Flying. Pretty much any of my main damage dealers that I would want to center my offense around. Not to mention Hariyama with Thick Fat, also reducing Fire and Ice type damage. This is a really bad week to have Iron Bundle and Hearthflame as your biggest draft pieces. But it is what it is. I could lean on Regidrago, but with that Florges Fairy type accompanied with any Terra Steel, Qianpao Sucker Punch, it's feeling like I have no options. More correctly, it feels like anything that I've brought to a previous week is going to fail me this week. I know that if I have any chance at all at beating Alex, I'm gonna have to bring something entirely new and hope he's caught off guard by something unpredictable. That's my bet. The odds are not in my favor, but if I have a chance at winning, that's what it is. While I think about what this awesome idea is that's going to magically win me the game, I center myself on what I should be respecting no matter what route I take. That's of course the Qianpao. Alex has been running a lot of support Qianpao, but this week there's not any reason he would be taking offensive Qianpao. So I need to respect max attack Adamant, Qianpao, Swords of Ruin. If it's gonna one-shot me, I can't bring it, or I have to change my EVs. Farigiraf, of course, that Trick Room mode, accompanied with that Florges. Alex brings it rarely, but when it does come, it usually steals the show. Hariyama Fake Out, of course, that Iron Boulder Mighty Cleave, along with Alex used a lot of Arcanine. It's now Entei, used in the same way, extreme speed, fire coverage. Yeah, and of course that Landorus Intimidate. Amazing typing, but really weak to bundle, to keep in mind. So, with those things to respect, I think I'm most concerned about a Trick Room Terrifier Florges with Calm Mind. I would have no way to break through all the special defense increases along with Terrifier. It would completely wall me, so I need to make sure I have a way to deal with that, as well as making sure Iron Boulder doesn't just one-shot everything that comes out before I can move. I'm reasonably sure Alex is going to lean into a Trick Room mode, so with that in mind, I think that I can spare speed EVs or even a Tailwind mode in general to ensure I have the defenses to position around these really strong hits that Alex is threatening at every turn of this battle. And here we are with the team. So, I know it might look a little weird at first. We've got the Hearthflame, the Bundle, the Moltres, all Pokemon that I said earlier was weak to that Rock-type Mighty Cleave. But I promise there's a method to the madness. First things first, I know I needed something for that Terrifier Grassy Seed Florges. With the Calm Minds to nullify my special attackers, and the Terrifier to block my physical stabs, I needed something, for sure, some way to kill it no matter what. And that's where the Focus Energy Hearthflame comes into play. With that Terrifier Ivy Cudgel +1 unintimidated, if I can get the Helping Hand onto it, it always one-shots the max health, max defense Florges, because that crit's going to bypass the +1 defense. And if for whatever reason I'm not able to get that Helping Hand out, I'm out of position maybe, the Ivy Cudgel's not going to quite do enough, but that Florges is usually always with the Thwacky in the grassy terrain. And that's why we also have the Grassy Glide. Even at minimum rolls, it's always going to be able to take out the Florges. Now, I knew I wanted to use Tinkaton from the very beginning. It's that Mold Breaker Fake Out into Farigiraf Armor Tail is so important for making it through those Trick Room turns. But to even think about using Tinkaton in the first place, I knew I'd have to do something about Alex's fire and ground type damage. There's just so many strong hitters, even at max health, max defense investment, Entei was still threatening one-shots. So that's where the Akaberry comes in. With this spread, it's just enough for that Entei Choice Band Flare Blitz to just barely not get the KO. And as far as the ground type damage goes, that same spread is going to do it for Max Attack Lander's Stomping Tantrum. But it's just enough that if I take any sort of fake out or chip, I'm going to need the Terra Flying in order to live through the remaining hits. We've got Thunderwave and Encore to try to buy time. I can live that one hit, slow anything that Alex has down that might be going faster, like that I'm expecting booster speed Iron Boulder. And Encore for Thwacky and Hariyama fakeouts lock them in that Gigaton for any extra damage move. I've got the 148 speed Timid to outspeed Thwacky, just 1 point over. And 1 extra point in attack, 1 extra point in special defense, just minor optimization. Iron Bundle. Now, I also knew Iron Bundle needed to be here. Alex loves bringing Landorus, and that freeze dry is too good to not bring into the Landorus matchup. I am also booster this time. If Alex decides to bring booster Iron Boulder, I need something that's going to outpace it. In booster energy, outside of booster energy. If I use my booster and it comes in later, that's why we have the coughing, but that's for later. So we've got the Terra Water, Terra Blast. There's a lot of ground, a lot of fire. I don't want to use Hydro Pump. It's too inaccurate and scares me. But I learned my lesson against Leaf last week, and I've dialed back a little bit on what speed I needed. I didn't need to be timid anymore, so it's just max speed, modest. And I dialed back on the damage just so I can get the booster speed still, but as much damage as I can fit, and the rest go into health to help out that defense stat. Now, Chien Pao is the scariest thing when it comes to this Iron Bundle, that Sacred Sword. Thankfully, I'm Terra Water. I can turn off that Ice weakness. But we can see that without the Terrestrialization into water, that Sacred Sword, 50% of the time it's going to KO me. So my plan is if I've got Bundle out and I'm staring down Chien Pao, I have to Terra it every single time. We're just not going to risk Sacred Sword taking the KO. Now, something to keep in mind as well, if I'm in a position where I'm expecting Sash Chien Pao, there's no way I can get it in one go. And even if I'm faster, it can threaten me with those sucker punches. One thing that I'm hoping might go in my favor is I was looking at the damage rolls. That sucker punch normally is going to do about over half, so it's always got the 2-hit KO. But with neutralizing gas out to cut that Swords of Ruin, now it's never a 2-hit KO. And the rolls overlap a little bit. I'm sure it's still a chance to kill, but if I'm in a position where I take one sucker punch, I know I can bring in the coughing, and there's a chance that that second sucker punch will KO. We've got the Helping Hand for the Ogre Pawn. That's where that Helping Hand Ivy Cudgel is going to come into play. And just protect after that. Nothing out of the ordinary with this coughing. The only point of interest is this Haze. It's the only Haze user on my draft. So it has the second job of taking care of Florgus, if for whatever reason I can't bring Ogre Pawn. If it's building up with those Calm Minds and Grassy Seeds, I can haze that away. And it has no good way of doing damage, so that's where the Poison Gas and Gyro Ball come into play. Poison Gas, of course, poisoning both. Gyro Ball does more damage the slower the user is, so that minimum speed coughing might actually do quite the number against the Chien Pao. Lastly, we've got that Pain Split to keep it up. We've got Eviolite, so no way of recovering health. And that Bug Terra type is going to help with all the ground damage I expect to see. It's got a really good defense stat, so with that Eviolite, it should be able to take perhaps 3 or even 4 super effective hits without going down. And I've got just enough special defense in order to survive the Fergraph Psychic. It's a blank spread. I'm not anticipating Alex to bring a max special attack Throat Spray Fergraph, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and I'll get blown out of the water by it. But this Neutralizing Gas I knew would be very, very good into Alex's composition. If we've got that booster speed Iron Boulder, this will cut that even if it's already consumed the booster energy, as well as cutting off that Swords of Ruin. Both will be very, very important for surviving these crazy hits that Alex will have on every single turn. And here's where the new stuff is. The brand new concept I said I wanted to think about. We've got, that's right, Hex Moltres. Terra Ghost Hex. That's where the Thunderwave Tinkaton and the Poison Gas Coughing is going to come in. This is the main strategy I want to implement against Alex. There's no good way of surviving the onslaught of Alex's attacks, so I'm really hoping to leverage this in a Trick Room mode, where we can use Tinkaton to stall out that getting set, and Moltres to start building up damage. We've also got that taunt there to help turn off that Trick Room. But we've got just enough speed investment to outpace just flat, no speed investment Entei. It's at 120. We've got 121. And then just that Qian Pao is so strong. I couldn't really justify going max health, max defense to make sure I survived. So we've got just enough. That way, with the neutralizing gas, nothing is ever going to KO us on that front. We'll get hit, eat our Citrus Berry, get our +1 on the Berserk, and hopefully that +1 Hex will just shred everything in front of us. I didn't look at specific calcs for this Hex, because I could be going at +1 or even +2, depending on how things work. But the idea is we'll leverage the Coughing next to Moltres as much as possible to cut that Swords of Ruin ability. And lastly, Sandy Shocks. This was the Pokemon I was most on the fence about using. I originally had a Volbeat here with Tailwind, but in practice, I just wasn't getting enough out of it. I really liked the idea of Earth Power stabs into Alex's Ice and Fire types, but having a Pokemon who cannot touch Landorus felt really, really bad. On top of that, it's weak to Alex's ground type attacks, and it's weak to Qian Pao. It just felt like it was not the correct choice, but I figured having the Earth Power was better than not, and I couldn't think of something better to include in this last slot. So we've got Protect, Thunderbolt, Earth Power, and to have any possible way of hitting the Landorus, we've got the Tri-Attack. And this also comes with the idea of, yeah, I've got that Hex Moltres, so maybe we'll get a 20% chance to get something to help on that strategy as well. Originally, I had the berry that resists Ice-type damage, but still being weak to ground, it meant I would have had to either Terra Flying or do some other Terra, so I felt that I had Ice damage covered by my other natural typings enough that I would go for a gamble. I would say that let's mark Terra Electric, and if I'm in a position to use it with Thunderbolt, that's awesome. But let's mark Terra Electric, and maybe we can psyop Alex into thinking that I should just always go for the ground move because it's always safe, and that's where the Shuka Berry comes into play. We've got just enough health and defense to survive that Icicle Crash with the neutralizing gas up, just barely. It's the minimum required investment. It always kills me without. But if we switch in that Weezing, we know we're going to be fine. And then we also have just enough speed to outpace the full speed Landorus Adamant. We won't get the Jolly, but I don't think Alex will be running Jolly. I don't think he's run Jolly once a single week. I checked a couple weeks. So we know that even if we're being threatened by that big Landorus, we've got our Berry. We're not going to get one shot. I'll at least be able to get 2 of the Tri-Attacks onto it. And they don't do a lot of damage, but hopefully it'll be enough. I'm not in love with it, but it's not here to deal with Landorus, but I want it to be able to do something into Landorus on the field. So yeah, I've been known for going very fast in this draft, with Prankster Tailwind, Scarf, Booster Speed. To that extent, I'm really anticipating Alex to counter with his own Trick Room right away. So to counter that, I'm planning on opening with either Tinkaton and Moltres, or Tinkaton and Ogerpon, depending on if we see that Florges in Team Preview. I feel really smart about this Moltres, that Terra Ghost Hex with the +1 from Berserk. After 1 tick of Poison Gas, I would not be surprised to see this get so many one-shots, and Without any normal types in Alex's team, only really the Terra Normal on Entei for the extreme speed, it just doesn't really feel like there's many options Alex has to stop this. Now, I need to position properly around that Qianpao Sucker Punch, and of course, if we see that Iron Boulder, that's no good either. But otherwise, I really believe in this Moltres concept, and I left my prep knowing exactly what hits I need to be afraid of, what hits I know I can comfortably survive. And I started this game with Alex feeling fairly confident in what otherwise felt like a losing matchup from the beginning. So let's head over to the games. Here we are in game 1. Right off the bat in this team preview, I'm not seeing any Florges, and I'm so happy about it. I'm sort of kicking myself for not bringing Regidrago, but I see these 3 Terra Steels, and I'm immediately thinking, oh man, if I can force something to Terra, Ogerpon can just pin it immediately with Ivy Cudgel. I get so excited thinking about this that I start with my opening predetermined lead of Tinkaton and Moltres. I bring Sandy Shocks for the Boulder, the Qianpao, and the Entei, that I actually bring Ogerpon as my 4th instead of Coughing, which is only a mistake in this situation. And to make things worse, Alex doesn't lead with Trick Room, and instead leads Booster Speed, Iron Boulder, and what is surely a fast Qianpao. And this is so bad for me. Alex has this amazing level 1 pin of Icicle Crash and Mighty Cleave into Moltres, and I'm dead if I don't Terra. I'm dead if I protect. Mighty Cleave will KO me through it. I'm dead if I Terra to the double up. Maybe I'm not dead if I Terra and fake out one of these guys, but then I'm not really making any ground. That Fire Wrath is not going to be doing much. It's built for Hex. So I do the best plan that I have, which is switch Sandy Shocks in and try to slow down this Iron Boulder with Thunder Wave. I'm praying that Sandy Shocks will live. It is Ice Spinner, not Icicle Crash, but I still go down, and I knew I would go down there. So we get the Thunder Wave off an Iron Boulder, thankfully, but I'm still not convinced my Moltres will be faster. I'm still worried about the same pin as last time, so at this point, I'm just praying for Moltres to be faster than Iron Boulder if Alex still decides to go for the double. With the Terrestrialization to Steel, and I'm locking in Thunder Wave on Qianpao just to try to slow it down for things in the back. But instead of going for the double, Alex actually goes for the Protect. It blocks my Thunder Wave, and we do see the Boulder is still faster. I'm dropped to below half, but this is actually good for me. It activates Berserk, I get the +1, and I'm feeling so good about this Hex here. It goes off, and I missed the KO. I couldn't believe this. So after this turn, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm actually a fraud. I've never played Pokemon before. This plan sucks. Everything was supposed to be for this, and it didn't even work. I'm dead to Sucker Punch here. I know from last turn Tinkaton will go before Iron Boulder, so I take my safest play, which is Protect Moltres for the Sucker Punch, and pray that Gigaton kills Iron Boulder, which it does, thank God. I make some forward progress, but the situation is just as bad, if not worse. Entei comes out, and I'm still dead to another Sucker Punch, and Tinkaton can't really do anything back to Entei. So I go for the switch. I'm still expecting Sucker Punch Mind Games. Thankfully, I call it right. Sacred Blade comes out. I know I survive this. And I believe I still try to go for the same Thunder Wave to slow things down, yeah. That Tinkaton was dead to any move there. I wasn't expecting Entei to go for anything in particular. Just in case we saw another Sucker Punch, I went for the switch on that slot. And I know Ogerpon is now faster than anything on the board, so I just tried to kill this Qianpao, pray it's not Sash. Sucker Punch Ogerpon, of course, and it is Sash. To make matters worse, Alex doubles it with the Entei, and at this point, I know I've lost this first game. I could fake out Qianpao to get the kill, but I know this Entei is faster than Moltres, and there's something in the back, probably Hariyama. I just don't have the gas for this anymore. The only way that seemed winnable for me is if we get a full paralysis on Qianpao, and I'm able to kill it with Spread from Fiery Wrath. So I go for that line, which is fake out Entei, and try to Fiery Wrath. And Alex is not paralyzed, Sucker Punch KOs, and yeah, I lose. It was a 25% chance, I didn't get it, and that's what it is. Alex led great, I was expecting something completely different, and I didn't bring coughing. And so, rightfully so, I just got blown out of the water. My thoughts as I'm staring down the team preview for Game 2 is that I got it wrong. Moltres clearly didn't do enough for what I wanted it to do. I should have checked more damage calcs for it, and just, instead of trusting the process that +1 or +2 would be enough. Alex knows I don't have Tailwind. I would have used it under Sucker Punch pressure if I had it. And at this point, he knows he's faster. I know Alex is never bringing for a Gareth. A Moltres just can't come anymore. It doesn't do enough, it's not fast enough. And this is feeling so over before it began. But I have to play anyway, so I think, okay, how do I not lose to the same exact plan again? The only answer I can come up with in my minute and a half of thinking is we'll lead Tinkaton and Bundle. If we see Boulder again, I've got my faster booster energy, and that fake out pressure will stop everything besides Terra Ghost, Chi, and Pow. But we see the Entei lead instead, which is still possible to deal with Terra Water Iron Bundle. But my thoughts here are that I just need to get Sucker Punch off the table. If we can survive until this Chi and Pow is gone, then Iron Bundle is probably in a really good position with Terra Water, Terra Blast to clean up the rest. So to that extent, we take the guaranteed fake out on Entei. I'm not going to play any games with Terra Ghost, and we'll just send Bundle's strongest attack into Chi and Pow, and Terra Water, like we said before, in front of that Sacred Sword. We don't want any Okos. We do see the Terra Ghost, and Protect, that's fine with me, as long as Entei's not moving this turn. And we do see Sucker Punch. So, I remembered this position from my calcs from earlier. I know that if I bring in Coughing, that this second Sucker Punch has a reasonable chance of not killing me. And I know this Entei is probably also looking to send an attack into the Tinkaton slot, because it's Steel type, it's super effective. We just saw Sucker Punch do over half, and Alex last game really, really likes clicking that Sucker Punch button. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? So, I take the play that's a bit of a gamble, but feels to me how I gain the most ground from this position. I switch in the Coughing, cut that Swords of Ruin, and yeah, it's just barely enough to survive. We get the KO back, and that Sacred Fire does about half to Coughing, which is fine, but I get burned. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So now, I'm thinking, oh man, this is so amazing. I'm faster than everything. I can kill whatever I want. I completely forget about Entei's extreme speed. It wasn't shown in the last game. I don't think, right? But in any case, I completely forget about extreme speed, and I just die to it for no reason. And I'm panicking. I get crit on Coughing, somehow I survive. This thing has so much defense. And thankfully it was Pain Split, so we're still in the game for a bit longer, but it's Sandy Shocks in the back, who is not faster than Iron Boulder and my Tinkaton. And I'm just worried that I don't have the gas for what's remaining. We bring in Tinkaton, fake out, and I'm just trying to Pain Split again. Get however much value out of Coughing as I can. And it reveals Taunt as the fourth move. Taunt! I suppose perhaps to stop a Volbeat if I brought it, or Tailwind on anything else. But this completely shuts down my Coughing. I have Gyro Ball, but truly that's not going to matter into this fire type, and it's not going to do anything to Iron Boulder. But I shake off the taunt and do what we can. Tinkaton taking this Mighty Cleave and Sacred Fire very well. No Swords of Runes, so, and this has also revealed to be Life Orb, so I felt comfortable that I could take the double up here with the berry. But yeah, this EV spread really coming in clutch, surviving even double ups, this unkillable Tinkaton. And I get the Thunder Wave on Entei. Wrong targeting, I think, in hindsight. It should have been onto Iron Boulder. But regardless, we bring out the Coughing to not die immediately to Iron Boulder. And cycle in our Fake Out one last time. I really wish this Earth Power would have killed Iron Boulder, but it is what it is. So now the only way Sandy Shocks dies here is if it's an Extreme Speed double up with Iron Boulder. And still then, maybe it's not enough. I do have some defensive investment. But however this turn goes, I'm just praying it's not a double up in the Sandy Shocks. And we do see the Protect on Entei. It made me so happy to see. And Coughing is also targeted as well. Hariyama comes in, and we're down to the last turn. Or not the last turn, but the final 4 on the field. I know Hariyama has Fake Out. My Fake Out is live as well, and it's faster. In other games, I've usually prioritized in faking out my opponent's Fake Out. But in this position, I'm scared of Hariyama Headlong Rush. I'm scared of... also scared of Entei not dying immediately. It has the power to kill Tinkaton and Sandy Shocks. So, I have Encore. I'm hoping Hariyama goes for a Fake Out, either into Tinkaton or Sandy Shocks. And my plan is just to Encore that Fake Out. That what feels to me is my only win con here. So this turn for me is Fake Out Entei and Earth Power Entei, because it just protected last turn. I know it has to do something. Alex fakes out my Sandy Shocks, and the turn's a wash, but we're still in. But now, I know Tink dies to an Extreme Speed. And I really need to get that Fake Off. I really need to get that Encore off into Hariyama if I feel like I have a chance of winning this. So again, just like last game, this comes down to this paralysis on Entei. Am I going to get that 25% chance? I don't. The Extreme Speed comes out. Thankfully, it dies to its own Life Orb damage. But this feels awful. When I see that Entei not get paralyzed, I really feel like I'm done. I closed my notebook. I stopped taking notes. I was like, I just lost. The game's over. I was expecting this to be AV, and it doesn't seem like it was. Spoiler alert. This was a Covert Cloak Hariyama, so I think Alex had clocked into my tendency to fake out the opponent Fake Out. So if I did go for that line, I would have lost immediately. But I didn't do it, which is good for me. But yeah, so my attack into the Entei ends up going to the Hariyama, and this is surely just Headlong Rush and I lose. Comes out. I've got the Shuka Berry, which I had planned for, but I'm already below half. There's no way. But there is a way, and I live! And the defenses drop! I did 40% on that Thunderbolt with the lowered special defense. I'll probably do about 60%. So all of a sudden, this is winnable. It's a damage roll for sure. And I rip the Thunderbolt and I get it. And I'm in complete awe. The first game was such a absolute wash, and this game I've barely won by the skin of my teeth. It feels like I cheated. It feels like I shouldn't be winning, but we made it regardless. That berry really making the difference. It was in respect of Landorus, no less, but I guess this is credit to perhaps my Terra Electric Gambit that I talked about before as well. Alex going for the super effective ground move, which would be the correct choice, I think, in every other scenario. But we get the win somehow, and we move into game 3. So as I move into game 3, I've got some morale behind me. I really liked the plan of opening with Bundle and Tinkaton, with Coughing in the back to cut Swords of Ruin. It felt strong. And Alex played around my fake out perfectly with the Protect and the Terra Ghost, but that still bought me tempo, enough tempo to be able to play around those Sucker Punches. So I plan to leverage a very similar plan. I have the exact same 4, and because Sandy Shocks was so pivotal in that last game, I know for a fact Landorus is going to be here. So even though I'm leading Iron Bundle and Tinkaton, I know in my head, if I'm going to win this game, Iron Bundle cannot die here. I need him to deal with Landorus at the end. So I take the same lead, and it's Entei this time, as well with Qian Pao. So same leads as game 2. And Alex last turn respected fake out perfectly, and this is now for the 3rd game where he led Qian Pao, and I didn't fake out Qian Pao the last 2 games. So he could very easily Terra Ghost again, but this time I just feel it in my gut. I want to fake out Terra Water, Terra Blast at Qian Pao. I think Alex is going to not respect it this time. I'm going to go for the level 2 play and just try to get this Qian Pao dealt with immediately. And I spend so much time figuring out, like, okay, if this goes wrong, if it is Terra Ghost, is it possible through Terra Water for me to die without coughing in here? What can Alex do? He protected Entei last time. He could also, like, Extreme Speed. The Tinkaton is here, though. Maybe he wants to Sacred Fire that, get the berry early. Or maybe it's a Stomping Tantrum, expecting a coughing switch. I think about it a lot, and I decided to just commit to the Terra Water. It felt like it only lost to Sucker Punch and Extreme Speed into the bundle slot, which was a very specific move out of many moves that made sense for Alex. So I just decided to go for it. And I time out, actually. I was trying to click fake out Terra Water, Terra Blast, Qian Pao, and I time out. I get the fake out, and I just couldn't get the bundles moving in time. Thankfully, Terra Blast was my first move, but yeah, I don't get it. And we see Alex Terra Normal, the Entei for Extreme Speed, which does a whole bunch of damage. And this Terra Blast does about 45% damage. So I'm beating myself up. This would have been Qian Pao gone immediately. And now I've lost my booster. There's probably Boulder in the back. This is a bad position for sure. I have to switch. Sucker Punch will KO me. But thankfully this Qian Pao is also quite injured now. Gigaton probably kills it from here. I've broken the sash, most importantly. I just have to play around this Extreme Speed to the best that I can. And that starts with bringing in coughing always. Sucker Punch, of course, and I was expecting Sacred Fire. Yeah, so I eat my berry. I've got quite a lot of health back left from Swords of Ruin being turned off. And I do paralyze this Entei. I have to slow it down. Terra Normal Extreme Speed's just going to cut through it, but at this point, I need a paralysis anywhere. That's what's going to make this game. Here, I just want to kill Qian Pao, so I've sent the Gyro Ball into Qian Pao, and I'm doing Gigaton into Entei, just getting damage. It's shed its fire typing, so the Gigaton does non-negligible damage. And I'm praying for a paralysis. He just did Sacred Fire, so maybe he does it again, maybe he does something else, maybe he just wants to kill coughing. I don't know, but I know I can get this Gigaton off, so I'm just trying to get damage right now. It does quite a lot, more than I was expecting. And coughing gets crit again, but somehow still lives. This thing got crit twice in this set. But it survives, and Gyro Ball does kill Qian Pao. Over half the health. That max speed Qian Pao playing to its doom. And we do see the Landorus, which I knew was coming eventually. So, as we see this Landorus come in, I'm thinking, okay, I know I've got Bundle in the back, and if I want to bring Bundle in, this Entei cannot Extreme Speed. It just used Stomping Tantrum. My Tinkaton and my Coughing are still both weak to ground. I want to encore it. And so that's what I do. If it does extreme speed this turn, I probably lose. But if it goes for Stomping Tantrum or gets paralyzed, that's a winning position for me. Everything here is weak to ground, so the Terra flying for Tinkaton feels very natural. And I think with Coffee, I just went Pain Split. Oh no, I switched. And that wasn't extreme speed. That did finally get paralyzed. My first and only paralysis in the whole game is on the exact turn I needed. We get the Encore into the Stomping Tantrum, and my Terra Flying blocks the what would be almost a full one-hit KO from the Landorus. Iron Bundle comes in, or Boulder, I should say, and it gets his Speed Booster. And I'm able to, now with the Encored Entei, I'm able to get my Gigaton out to pick up that KO. It did about 40% before this, so I knew even at -1 it would be good enough. Finally, here we are with Alex's last two, Booster Speed, Boulder, and Landorus. I know that I could switch in my Coughing, and my bundle would now be faster than Iron Boulder, because the neutralizing gas would turn off that booster speed, even though it's already eaten it. But I have a better plan in mind. I know that I'm faster than Landorus, so this Boulder probably wants to kill Iron Bundle before it can move. It's got the ice attacks. It's the only thing that can kill Landorus. So instead, I opt for getting the Thunder Wave on Iron Boulder to bring in Bundle later. And we switch in the Coughing to take that last bit of damage for it. Mighty Cleave comes out, kills it. I land my, what might be fifth and final Thunder Wave of the set. Rock Slide kills Tinkaton, finally dying after dodging so many what would be Okos. And I'm brought into the final board state where I have the speed advantage. Bundle will move first, most assuredly, and kill Landorus. And whichever person Iron Boulder decides to target, Sandy Shocks will be able to not immediately die and kill it back, which is exactly what happens. Oh. I was really proud of myself for putting together that little positioning macro plan with Bundle to make sure it was around to kill Landorus, the final state. I think a safer play would have been to swap in Coughing over top of the Tinkaton on turn 6 to disable Iron Boulder's booster speed and just get the freeze dry off right away. But I didn't know if Landorus was AV. I didn't know if it had Protect. If I went for that turn and Protected, I would have lost immediately. So instead I went for a safer plan to just hit the 90% Thunder Wave. And if that wasn't the story of my Milwaukee event, then I don't know what was. It was really nice. This Tinkaton set was exactly what I brought to Milwaukee on this most recent season. And I did all right. I mean, I didn't do amazing, but it feels good to play such a close set with who I respect as a very good VGC player. And have it perform as well as I believe it can. From being able to fake out through Inner Focus and Armor Tail, being able to even have that perfect EV spread to survive everything, all the utilities. It's good. I feel like I've left whatever baggage I had left from Milwaukee has now been left on the table. And GG's to Alex. It was a very fun game. I'm really glad it wasn't just a wash. And yeah, I couldn't think of a better game to take a break from the season on.